In terms of Marvel's superhero roster, Captain America isn't the hero you think of when the topic of smart superheroes comes up. Between Iron Man's technical genius, Mr. Fantastic's quasi-omnipotence, and Professor X's psychic knowledge, the Star-Spangled Man with a Plan comes nowhere near the ranks of heroes you'd expect to be outdoing Marvel's best and brightest. But being underestimated is exactly how Cap manages to outsmart people so often. Nobody expects America's perfect golden boy to be capable of getting the better of them, and he uses this again and again to his own advantage. As such, Steve Rogers has managed to one-up people you'd never expect he could, with the likes of Nick Fury, Maria Hill, and even Iron Man among those ranks. He's no Batman or Bruce Banner, that's for sure, but he's also far smarter than many people actually give him credit for, and more than capable of turning any situation in his favor. So, I'm Ewan, this is What Culture Comics, and here are 10 times Captain America outsmarted everyone. Number 10. Discovering Nick Fury had wiped his memory. Uncovering that you've had your mind wiped is a pretty difficult matter regardless of how you look at it. Discovering you've been mind wiped, working out why, and then confronting the terrifyingly resourceful person who did it is an entirely more difficult matter, and yet Captain America pulls it all off with aplomb come the end of Secret War, not to be confused with 1984's Secret Wars or its 2015 follow-up. Steve manages to uncover that he and several other superheroes were recruited by Nick Fury in order to arrest Lucia von Bardis, the Prime Minister of Latveria, in a plan that actually involved them secretly overthrowing the country, killing untold scores of Latverians, and then having their memories of the event wiped before any could get too furious about Nick Fury, you know, being Nick Fury. The discovery of this act leaves the erstwhile director of S.H.I.E.L.D. a full-time war criminal, and in the bad books of the vast majority of the superhero community. They would have otherwise been totally unaware, if not for Cap's uncanny ability to realize he's had his memories toyed with. Number 9. Kicking Wolverine out of a plane. Okay, so kicking Wolverine out of a plane admittedly doesn't sound all that impressive at first, as basic hand-eye coordination is a skill which mercifully doesn't involve incredible intelligence. But Cap's decision to dramatically get rid of the mutant in Avengers vs. X-Men is surprisingly tactical. After taking the human weapon with his team to find Hope Summers, Captain America reveals that he has done so because he doesn't trust Logan to not kill the girl, resulting in a fight that sees Cap order Giant Man to eject Wolverine forcibly from the plane. The fact that Steve merely says now to Sharon does suggest that the two had pre-planned this fight, and had intended to leave Wolverine stranded out in the middle of nowhere as a safety precaution from the moment they all boarded the plane. It's maybe not his most honest moment, but there's not many other ways to peacefully get rid of Logan without the X-Men knowing, or getting made into the human equivalent of Swiss cheese for your troubles. Number 8. Defeating himself. Although the events of Secret Empire sowed a lot of discontent among fans, who were understandably a little creeped out at seeing their favorite hero, you know, get turned into an actual Nazi, we did at least get to see the true Cap beat his alternate Hydra self at the book's conclusion. While it would be easy to have made this scene be a simple case of the evil Steve Rogers getting a royal beatdown, it's actually more a case of him being outsmarted, with the heroic Captain America actively setting his doppelganger up to fail. Knowing full well that just punching his evil counterpart won't truly defeat him, Steve instead lets him try and pick up Mjolnir, which inevitably fails as the Hydra leader isn't worthy of the weapon. Aware his alternate self is now completely demoralized, Captain America casually picks up Thor's hammer and absolutely destroys his opponent with it, ending both the fight and one of the more questionable Marvel comics of the recent past. Number 7. Exposing Richard Nixon in the original Secret Empire. The fact that Captain America is canonically responsible for the suicide of one Richard Milhouse Nixon in the Marvel Universe is too surreal to seem true, like a fever dream you had after reading a comic, a history book, and then downing 2 bottles of cough syrup. Oh, indeed. Yet it's also exactly the case in the original run of Captain America, where issue 175 finds our hero discovering the shocking secret identity of the leader of the evil Secret Empire, which is never explicitly stated in the comic, but has since been confirmed by writer Steve Englehart to be Tricky Dick himself, in reaction to the Watergate scandal which was occurring at the time. While Cap's discovery of this foul secret isn't genius work, he does manage to find out a secret that literally nobody else in the world knows, even if it does lead him to quit being a superhero for an issue or 5. Number 6. Evading Iron Man and the entire US government. When you have Iron Man, Spider-Man, a cloned Thor, and most of the American civil service after you, you'd imagine being able to hide would be quite difficult, especially while trying to carry out covert guerrilla operations on the very same people trying to hunt you down. All of this is exactly why Captain America should get significantly more credit than he does for managing to keep out of the evil clutches of his many pursuers during the events of Civil War, even if many of his teammates aren't so lucky. Cap even goes so far as to don a mustachio disguise for a portion of the comic, launching into some spy film level antics in order to avoid those who would do anything to catch him. Although Steve gives himself up to Tony and the government in the end, it's only after he realizes he's hurting the people he sought to protect, meaning he could have gone on playing cat and mouse with some of the smartest people in the world for much longer, had he had any reason to. Number 5. Trusting Bucky. A decision so smart, so emotional, and so perfect that it demanded a film adaptation, Cap's decision to trust Bucky Barnes not to kill him in the Winter Soldier storyline is actually one of the smartest moves the hero has made to date. The idea of Bucky's conditioning and mind control is a two-pronged beast, in that Cap's enemies win if the hero dies, but they also win if he decides to kill one of his oldest friends. Rogers, however, knows his longtime ally better than the people who kept him captive, and so predicts that reminding him of his old life will distract Bucky for just long enough that Steve can cancel out his brainwashing with the Cosmic Cube, as it does. Making plans that involve essentially just hoping not to be shot at doesn't sound all that smart, but Cap's plan manages to create a scenario that never could have been expected, with Barnes being free from his mind control after countless years spent as the Winter Soldier. Number 4. Outsmarting Maria Hill to create the new Avengers. There are very, very few times in comics history that someone gets to outsmart Maria Hill. There are even fewer that involve getting to do so without any unfair shenanigans involved. So few, in fact, that it would appear the only time this actually happens is in the case of the New Avengers, where Captain America manages history's greatest dunk on the S.H.I.E.L.D. operative. Because after Steve has put this motley crew together, he is accosted by Hill, who is attempting to shut down the New Avengers before they can even begin. What the S.H.I.E.L.D. director has missed, however, is that Cap has what is called a full champion license, issued to him by the government, meaning he can legally create a superhero team without anyone else's approval. This leads to an absolutely beautiful moment where the eternally overprepared Maria is forced to sheepishly explain that, actually, she wasn't aware of that license, and that there is actually nothing whatsoever she can do about the new team. With superheroes being tied up by bureaucracy one too many times, this moment is undeniably great. Number 3. Outthinking an Omega-level mutant. Quentin Quire is a curious character because he simply can't predict his actions, changing from sassy, sulking teen to terrifying apocalyptic powerhouse in the blink of an eye. He's also one of Earth's most powerful telepaths, which makes conflict with him a good way to get your brain turned to mush, for anyone but Captain America, of course. As, when Quentin tries to enter Cap's mind, he comes face to face with none other than America's most iconic shield. It's symbolic of the hero's focus, and is particularly effective against Quire, as he can't use his mind powers on someone whose mind he cannot actually access. With Steve actively challenging Kid Omega to enter his mind, you can see this is a skill the hero has purposely built up in order to one-up anyone with powers involving the mind, because, unless said telepath can break in, they can't really beat him. Number 2. Preparing for his own assassination. Captain America's assassination was one of the most major events in the character's recent history, drawing serious emotions from countless fans. While Steve's funeral was especially sad, there was one moment that came as an especially unexpected punch, when it is revealed that Cap left instructions for Iron Man, detailing what he would like to happen should he ever be killed. The letter asks that Iron Man look after Bucky, likely because he anticipated that the man would go after whoever was responsible for his death, and requests that Captain America live on, with the hero's mantle being given to another worthy individual in order to carry on the first Avengers work. The idea of replacing Cap can be seen to actually outsmart Steve's murderers, as their aim, to kill Captain America, fails so long as someone else takes up the role. Also, Bucky Cat was the best part of Brubaker and Epting's run. Don't at me. Number 1. Discovering the Illuminati. Twice. Steve Rogers has an exceedingly bad history with being mind-wiped, one that's only soothed by the fact he always finds out what memories have gone missing, and he always busts the ass of whoever is responsible. This formula extends even to his own teammates, it turns out, as when Cap discovers that he's been brainwashed to forget that the Illuminati has been rebuilt, a seriously sketchy secret superhero team headed up by Iron Man and Mr. Fantastic, he immediately starts scheming to take the group down. With this in mind, Steve forms the Mighty Avengers and violently confronts Iron Man about his secret cult-like club. While no one ends up winning the fight, as the appearance of the Time Gem instead leads to some timeline shenanigans, there's a pretty good chance that Captain America actually would have won, had the battle continued to the end.
Hello YouTube, we're turning things up to 11 with the launch of What Culture Music.
It's our brand new channel featuring all those lists you just can't get enough of, including creepy hidden messages in your favourite pop songs,
as well as radio-friendly songs that detail literal murder. That's as well as chatty faces where we get personal with you on our sordid musical tastes, in-depth discussion podcasts, and we're even doing quality fun stuff like tournaments and quizzes too.
There's going to be something for everybody, so come on over and make some sweet music with us.
Or just watch the videos, that works too.
Like, share and subscribe at the link below, and we will see you there.
Bye.
But I want to know what you think Cap's smartest moments are. Let us know down in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'm Ewan, keep up with my own emotionally charged Cap moments over on Twitter at EwanRuinsThings, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!